Railroads are one of the world's most important means of transportation. Every day, many thousands of trains speed along 1,000,000 miles. That's over 1,600,000 kilometers of track throughout the world. Some trains carry people. Others haul the things people use every day, like coal, lumber, machinery, and the food we eat. How do railroads become such an important mode of transportation? How do they work? And how do they affect our lives? The history of railroads is one of the most interesting stories ever told. Whether you live in a city or out in the country, chances are you live near a railroad. Railroads are everywhere. There are over 200,000 miles. That's over 321,000 kilometers of track in North America alone, and many more in other parts of the world. Railroads are important because they are the most efficient way to move people and goods over land at fast speeds for long distances. Only ships carry heavier cargoes, and only airplanes are faster. Railroads work because trains ride on a permanent steel track, designed to guide them easily over rutted or muddy terrain. Trains can ride on top of narrow rails because their wheels are flanged. Flanged wheels have a protective rim on one side that holds the wheel on top of the rail and guides the train between two rails. By using rails and flanged wheels, trains can effectively haul thousands of tons of goods with relatively little effort. The first primitive railroads were built in English coal mines 400 years ago, but they were very different than today's railroads. In the 1600s, miners discovered that coal wagons were much easier for horses to pull if they rested on wooden rails. By the mid-1700s, they began nailing strips of iron to the wooden rails to make them last longer, and railroads as we know them were invented. The first trains were pulled by horses or mules, and only ran for short distances, in and out of the mines. It would take a better source of power before railroads would become an important form of transportation. In 1804, an English inventor named Richard Trevithick experimented with an engine that created power by boiling water and using the steam it produced to turn wheels. He mounted his steam engine on a frame fitted with 4 flanged wheels, then set it on a track. Trevithick's revolutionary engine pulled 10 tons. That's just over 9 metric tons of iron, 70 men, and 5 wagons along 9.5 miles. That's 15 kilometers of track. He had built the world's first successful railroad locomotive. Before long, William Hedley built a more powerful locomotive called Puffing Billy. And George Stephenson, an English railroad engineer, built his locomotive called the Rocket. By 1829, steam had become a proven way to haul people and freight along rails. steam trains were proven to be an efficient way to move people and freight, businessmen began to build tracks for them to run on. George Stephenson built the world's first public railroad in 1825. The Stockton and Darlington ran for about 20 miles or 32 kilometers and was the first to carry freight on a regular schedule. Stephenson also built the first passenger railroad in England. It opened in 1830 and ran between the towns of Liverpool and Manchester. In America, it was the barge and canal companies that had the money and the knowledge to build the first railroads. The Delaware and Hudson Canal Company purchased an English-built steam locomotive, the Sturbridge Lion, in 1829. It was the first full-size locomotive to operate in North America. A year later, the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad was first in America to carry passengers. In the beginning, the B&O's trains were drawn by horses, like their canal barges, but they experimented with a rail car powered by a sail. That experiment failed, and in 1831 they began carrying passengers behind a steam locomotive called the York. By 1835, over 1,000 miles, that's 1,600 kilometers of track had been laid. More than 200 separate railroads connected towns and cities in 11 eastern states.